So this water lettuce, it grows out there filtering my water and shading my ponds just prolifically. You know, it is a very fast grower. And it's also a very rich source of protein. This is very high in protein. Now, people can eat this, and people have ate it during famine times, and there is a few places in the world that they do have things they make out of it and consume it. But it can also cause you to get kidney stones if you eat too much of this. So that's a negative thing right there. Another thing is you wouldn't want it out of any waters that might have been polluted, because it's known to absorb heavy metals and other toxins, and that's a good thing for cleaning toxic waters. But you wouldn't want to consume any from toxic waters, which this does not have a pleasant taste anyway. It's nothing that you're just going to be licking your lips to eat. But it is a very good source of food for animals, and sometimes you just need to make it a little bit more palatable for them. Now, pigs and things like that will eat it, goats will eat it, and ducks will eat it, and so will chickens. But one of the things that you can do to make it a whole lot more consumable for them, and where they'll have more of an appetite to actually truly eat it, is one thing, you want to chop it up. You want to go ahead and get it chopped down into small pieces. I may go ahead and chop this just a little bit more real quick. And then if you have any kind of feed, and I just have this sitting here right now, like this is my fish food. And fish food and chicken feeds and stuff, they're not all that different. A lot of it's just corn-based, soybean-based. I mean, everything from fish feed to pig feed to dog feed to everything. It's all really close to the same formulas, only small variations, and none of it will really hurt one or the other. Sometimes it's just even the pellet size, how they pellet it and all, for different applications. They may add a little bit more protein in some of it and a little less protein in the other. So there you go. And this, like I say, is very high in protein. And one of the things you can do is you've got some table scraps, some leftover rice, other food that might be palatable to a chicken. Maybe even like some fruit that's maybe got a little bit too ripe for your taste, is you can take and chop that up, smash it up, because the chickens and all love to eat fruit, especially really ripe, and mix it down in this. You can take this food like this and mix it down in this. What'll happen is it'll absorb up the flavors off of this right here if you let it set for a while, and it will make it a whole lot more desirable for them to eat it. But it will not harm them. It will not. This is actually a very rich in protein food that you could have in case of a crisis. Or if you just want to feed your animals organic and not off commercial bought feeds. Now, I'm just using this as an example because it's what I had handy right now. If we had some leftover rice or anything, which right this moment we don't, but sometimes we do, that's a very good thing to throw in. And what you want to do is soak it. I have just this old cooler we had sitting here as an example, but I can, mix this and mix this together, put it in, kind of smash it up, let it soak for a while, let it absorb those flavors, go feed it. So I chopped it up a little bit more fine there, you can see. And so what I'll do is just start sprinkling some of this down in here, add a little bit of this feed. I'll wipe that up off the table and put it in there too, and I'm done. Add a little feed, add a little of this in there, and kind of mix it up. Add, mix. Like I say, if you had any fruit, anything like that as well, that'd probably be even more flavorful for them, and healthy too, very healthy for them. You have some overripe banana, anything like that. Like here we're always having papayas fall. Sometimes I feed them to the fish. Fish like it too. I chop it up. Tilapia have a very similar diet to even like these chickens. They like plants and things like that. They will very much enjoy to eat a very good plant Mix this up really good. Now what I'm gonna do is just let this set for a while. All right, and you see I only used very little feed out of that just then, and it's mixed all in here. And we'll let this set and just kind of absorb up a little bit, and we'll go feed them. If they don't take after it with maybe this particular mix, just try something else. Like I said, add rice, fruit, whatever leftovers you have. But all you're trying to do is change the flavor on this a little bit. It's not harmful to your chickens, your ducks at all. A lot of ducks will eat it directly without doing anything to it. Now I haven't let this set but just a few minutes because I don't want those pellets in there to turn too soft from the moisture of this. So I just only let it set just for a few minutes only. I'm just gonna put a little bit out to start with. They actually are eating that water lettuce. I'm watching it disappear. They're leaving some of the root part behind. Because I didn't cut the roots away. You can do that. You can chop the roots away. Actually, they have ate it way down. Look at that. So that they got pretty dirty and sandy, they've kind of left it. But they're still eating some of it. So they left a lot of it that was down around by the root. They even ate some of the root part too. Here's some of it that's got root. You can chop those off, clean it up a little bit. I kind of did this in a hurry, but they definitely did eat quite a bit of the water lettuce. I'm gonna put a little bit again. I should see them eating it. They sure are. Probably better if I put this in like a little pan or something for them, a feed pan. We don't have it in there right now, but it is a pretty good example, and they really do eat it way down. I mean, you're going from a handful of matter to, just a spoonful of matter left behind. So while we're out here with these chickens, I'm going to tell you a story about these chickens. I bought some little young pullets right here. Little young hens, not fully mature, like I say, little pullets. But he had some mature ones that he wanted to get rid of as well. And that wasn't really part of my original deal. It was just buying these few pullets and one young rooster. But he asked if I could go ahead and take everything that he had and him just send it on, because they lost their place to keep these. They were apparently caretaking or something at somebody else's place, and they had no place to keep them. So I said, yeah, just bring on whatever you got and I'll give you something for them. And so we ended up with a few that wasn't part of our original deal. Now some of you think that I have a bunch of roosters. I don't know where you're getting that at, but I don't. You have some more mature hens that's got a little bit more of a top knot to them, but I don't have a whole bunch of roosters. I don't know if your TV needs to be focused or your phone's got a smudge on the screen. And I've been raising chickens, especially around Rhode Island Reds, my entire life. My grandmother and myself, but really like Black Australorps too. They're another favorite of mine. We had an Aussie subscriber that was carrying on his liking of the Australorps, and I had to 100% agree with him. They're called Black Australorps, but they have like a green-like sheen to them. It's very beautiful, and I love those birds. If I found some here, I would probably get some. Wouldn't mix them with these, but I'd set up a separate set of cages. Y'all can that yelling, that's next door. And mean old girl over there. Yeah, she just yells at her kids all the time. Well, anyway, they're another one I like. The Black Australorps are really cool because they are one of the highest egg producers there is. They will produce longer through seasons than probably any other chicken on eggs. Just almost just complete year-round production on eggs, and they still have a nice meat size to them as well, and they're a pretty hardy bird. Also do that with this hydrant right here, this water lily or hydrant. You can do the same thing with it as well. And of course, they just love duckweed, like the duckweed down in here. I had recently just threw a few pieces of this water lily over here onto these little ponds here, and you see how prolific it is. A little duckweed starting to take hold down in there too. But if you see, the color has improved on all of it now, and it's not so yellow. That's because I took and did a little switcheroos around on waters, and I pumped some of the water from this tank over into these two tanks and brought the level down some. And then I pumped this really fresh, clean water from this tank over into that tank and filled it back up. And then I pumped a little bit of it back over here into this tank and brought some of the dirty water into this clean water. And I did that because I knew that it would get filtered by all these plants in here, which it has. And you see how nice and clear it is, even after I pumped a whole bunch of dirty water from in here. And so now all the waters on these three are all back crystal clear again from the plants. And you see I've been harvesting off this water lettuce on here. But you can see it grows back really fast. But you know, this was really yellow, and you can see now that it's got some nutrients that it has darkened up quite a bit. The hydrant or the water lettuce. Well, the water lettuce seems to really grow faster than the hydrant. But animals tend to like the flavor of the hydrant, the water lily, better than they do the water lettuce. Both of them, you're going to have to control it and maintain it, because it is what they'll call an invasive species, and it's just a runaway species, especially if it's got something they can feed on, like the nitrates from their poo right here. Well, then it's going to really make it grow and expand. So if you can have a source to use it, like for instance in feed, chopping it up, making feed out of it, which is a very good source. Maybe chopping it up some and making compost, which many of you on this channel have mentioned, which we have already done prior to that, because Melinda takes any plant matter that we have and she composts it, puts soil over the top of it and lets it set. And then in later dates, she'll either dig it up and spread it, or she'll just plant directly into it and start a new pile somewhere else. So there's that. People do dry this out, and believe it or not, make charcoal out of it. They'll dry it and then burn it down with some other matter like sticks and stuff, kind of like that stuff that came in at the beach out there, and they will compact it down and press it and make charcoal disc out of it. That's a little labor intensive for what I'm wanting to do here right now, but it's definitely a source of food. Everybody, I appreciate you watching this little video of trying to produce your own foods. You can't always depend on the feed store. You cannot always depend on it, nor should you. Try to be independent, self-reliant, self-sufficient, and we'll see you on the next one.